Imagine this. You're sitting in a quiet coffee shop, the kind with mismatched chairs and the faint hum of conversation in the background. You're staring out the window, watching people rush by, each carrying their own invisible burdens. And you wonder, why do so many of us feel stuck, unhappy, or disconnected, even when life seems fine on the surface? That's the question William Glasser, a renegade psychiatrist, dared to ask in his groundbreaking book, Choice Theory, A New Psychology of Personal Freedom. Glasser, who spent decades counseling everyone from troubled teens to struggling couples, offers a radical idea. Our happiness hinges on the choices we make. Not the world around us, but the way we choose to see and shape it. Today, we're diving into his world, where every decision you make is a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. Ready to explore what that means? Let's begin. Picture a young woman named Sarah, sitting on her couch, scrolling through her phone. She's just had another argument with her partner, and the air feels heavy with unspoken resentment. She thinks, if only they'd change, I'd be happy. It's a thought we've all had at some point, right? Blaming someone else for our frustration, our sadness, our stuckness. But Glasser would lean across the table, look Sarah in the eyes and say, you can't control them. You can only control you. That's the heart of choice theory, a simple, seismic shift in perspective. Glasser argues that all our behavior, every action, thought, and feeling is a choice. Not a reaction, not a reflex, but a choice. And that idea? It's both liberating and a little terrifying. Glasser wasn't your typical psychiatrist. Born in 1925, he trained in the era of Freudian psychoanalysis, where the past ruled everything: your childhood, your traumas, your buried memories. But Glasser wasn't buying it. He saw patients trapped in cycles of blame, pointing fingers at their parents, their bosses, or society itself. So, he broke ranks, developing a new approach called reality therapy in the 1960s, which later blossomed into choice theory. His big question was this: what if the key to a better life isn't digging up the past, but taking charge of the present? What if we're not victims of our circumstances, but architects of our own happiness? Let's walk through this idea with Sarah. She's upset because her partner forgot their anniversary, again. She could stew in anger, replaying every time they've let her down. Or she could choose a different path. Glasser would say Sarah's misery isn't caused by her partner's forgetfulness, but by how she's choosing to respond to it. Maybe she's holding on to an image in her mind, an ideal anniversary complete with roses and a candlelit dinner. Glasser calls this her quality world, a mental scrapbook we all carry, filled with pictures of the people, things, and experiences we believe will make us happy. For Sarah, that perfect anniversary is in her quality world. But here's the catch. When reality doesn't match that picture, we feel the sting of disappointment. And that's where choice comes in. Glasser's theory rests on a bold claim. We're driven by 5 basic needs, hardwired into our DNA. First, survival: food, shelter, safety. Then, love and belonging, because we're social creatures who crave connection. Next, power, which isn't about control, but about feeling competent and respected. Then, freedom, the need to make our own choices. And finally, fun, because who doesn't want a little joy in their day? These needs aren't just abstract ideas. They're the engine behind every decision we make. Think about it. Why did you choose your job, your friends, even the music you're listening to right now? Somewhere deep down, those choices are tied to these needs. Let's go back to Sarah. Her need for love and belonging is screaming for attention. She wants to feel close to her partner, to know she matters. But instead of nagging or withdrawing, Glasser would encourage her to focus on what she can control: her own actions. Maybe she invites her partner for a walk, not to lecture them, but to reconnect, to share a laugh, to rebuild the bond. It's not about forcing them to meet her expectations. It's about choosing behaviors that align with her needs and her quality world. Glasser says, We almost always have choices, and the better the choice, the more we will be in control of our lives. That's not just advice, it's a lifeline. Now, let's step back in time for a moment. In the 1960s, when Glasser was developing these ideas, the world was in upheaval. Protests, cultural shifts, and new psychological theories were challenging old norms. Behaviorism was king, with its focus on rewards and punishments to shape behavior. But Glasser saw a flaw: external control. Trying to manipulate others with carrots or sticks often backfired. It bred resentment, not connection. He saw this in schools, where teachers scolded students into submission, and in marriages, where partners tried to fix each other. Glasser's rebellion was to say, stop trying to control others. Focus on yourself. It was a radical idea then, and honestly, it's still radical now. Let's try a thought experiment. Imagine a high school student, Marcus, who's failing math. His teacher thinks he's lazy, his parents think he's defiant, and Marcus, he just feels lost. In a traditional setup, the teacher might threaten detention, or his parents might take away his phone. But Glasser would shake his head. Those are external controls, and they're likely to make Marcus dig in his heels. Instead, Glasser would sit Marcus down and ask, "What do you want? What's in your quality world?" Maybe Marcus dreams of becoming a graphic designer, where math could help him create stunning visuals. Glasser's approach, used in what he called quality schools, would encourage Marcus to connect his schoolwork to his dreams, to choose learning over rebellion. It's not about forcing him to study. It's about helping him see why it matters to him. This idea of internal control is where choice theory shines. Glasser believed we can't directly control our feelings or physiology. Those are trickier, more unconscious. But we can control our actions and thoughts, and those shape everything else. Take a moment to think about your own life. When was the last time you felt stuck? Maybe you were angry at a coworker or anxious about a deadline. Did you try to change the situation, or did you try to change someone else? Glasser's challenge is this: what if you focused on your own choices instead? What if, like Sarah or Marcus, you asked yourself, what's one thing I can do right now to move toward what I want? Let's weave in another story. Meet James, a middle-aged manager who's burned out. His team is underperforming, and he's constantly putting out fires. He blames his employees, too lazy, too distracted. But one day, James stumbles across choice theory at a bookstore. Intrigued, he starts reading and comes across Glasser's 7 caring habits: supporting, encouraging, listening, accepting, trusting, respecting, and negotiating differences. These are the opposite of what Glasser calls the 7 deadly habits: criticizing, blaming, complaining, nagging, threatening, punishing, and bribing. James realizes he's been leaning hard on those deadly habits, barking orders and micromanaging. So, he tries something new. He starts listening to his team, asking about their goals, encouraging their ideas. Slowly, the dynamic shifts. His team feels valued, and productivity climbs. James isn't just managing better, he's happier. He's chosen connection over control. This shift from external control to internal choice isn't just about personal relationships. Glasser dreamed big. He saw choice theory transforming entire communities. Imagine a town where people replace blame with understanding, where conflicts are resolved not with ultimatums, but with conversations. In one of Glasser's real-life experiments, he introduced choice theory to a community in Corning, New York, through a marriage counseling workshop. Couples role-played scenarios, practicing how to listen without judging, how to negotiate without demanding. The result? Not just stronger marriages, but a ripple effect. People started treating their neighbors, their coworkers, even strangers with more respect. Glasser called this a quality community, where mutual understanding becomes the norm. What if we all lived in a place like that? What would our world look like? But let's be real. Choice theory isn't a magic wand. Some critics, like those on Goodreads, have called Glasser's ideas oversimplified, arguing that not every problem can be solved by choosing better behaviors. Mental illness, for example, can have biological roots that go beyond choice. Glasser's response? He didn't deny biology, but he believed that even in tough cases, focusing on what we can control, our actions and thoughts, gives us a fighting chance. He once wrote, "If you are depressed, your misery is always related to a current, unsatisfying relationship." That's a bold claim, and it doesn't sit well with everyone. But even if you don't buy it wholesale, there's something undeniably empowering about asking, "What can I do today to feel a little better?" Let's travel to the future for a moment. It's 2035, and you're at a school board meeting. The curriculum is being overhauled, inspired by Glasser's quality schools. Instead of rote memorization, students choose projects tied to their passions. A kid like Marcus isn't failing math. He's designing a video game, learning geometry in the process. Teachers aren't enforcers, they're guides, helping students align their choices with their needs. The result? Kids who feel empowered, not oppressed. Dropout rates plummet, and creativity soars. This isn't a pipe dream. It's the kind of future Glasser envisioned, where education nurtures choice, not control. Back to Sarah, our friend from the coffee shop. She's decided to try Glasser's approach. Instead of stewing over her partner's forgetfulness, she plans a small surprise, a picnic in the park, just the two of them. She's not trying to fix them. She's choosing to create a moment that feeds her need for love and belonging. And when her partner lights up, laughing over a shared memory, Sarah feels a spark of hope. It's not perfect, but it's a start. Glasser would smile and say, "That's it. You're choosing your way forward." As we wrap up this journey through choice theory, let's pause for a moment. Think about your own quality world. Who's in it? What moments, what dreams make your heart sing? And what choices can you make today? Small, intentional steps to bring your reality closer to that vision. Glasser's message isn't about perfection, it's about possibility. He reminds us that we're not powerless, even when life feels heavy. The choices you make decide the life you live, he wrote. So, what will you choose next? This has been a dive into choice theory, a new psychology of personal freedom by William Glasser. If this resonated with you, grab the book or share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, keep choosing, keep growing, and keep asking, what's in your quality world?